Okay, I want to review area and perimeter with you. This week, all of our word problems will involve area and perimeter, and I want to make sure that you understand the difference between the two and how you find each. Okay, area is measured in square units. If you look at this grid here, each of these squares is 1 centimeter square, meaning all of the sides are a centimeter long. Now, you measure area in square units because you're finding out how many of those squares would go inside of a particular shape. So, for instance, if I wanted to, here's an example of when you would use area. If I was painting a wall and I wanted enough paint to cover the whole wall, not just around the edges, but the whole wall. So if this was my wall, I'd want the paint to cover all of it. So I'd have to measure in a square unit. How many squares? Okay, probably for a wall you would measure square feet. And you have to make sure when you write that measurement that you include the square unit. Okay, and I'll show you an example of that in a moment. Perimeter is measuring around the shape. So again, we'll use this example here. I am just measuring the length around each of these sides, and then I'm going to total up all the lengths to find the perimeter. And an example of when you would use perimeter, maybe you're putting up a fence around your yard. The fence would surround the yard. So this would be my fence going around. I wouldn't put a fence all the way in because then I couldn't get to my yard. So the fence, we would use a perimeter to find out how much fencing we would need, and it's only going to have one dimension. It's going to have length. Area has two dimensions, length and width. That's why we have to say square units. Okay, a square has two dimensions. So I'm going to show you how to find the area of this. Actually, it's a rectangle. No, this one's a square. I didn't even realize I was making a square. Okay, so I just said that these were centimeter squares. So going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that means this is 5 centimeters long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is also 5 centimeters, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 centimeters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters. Okay, so if I needed to find the area because I wanted to fill this entire inside, I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like when we did arrays. Okay, we have 5 rows times 5 columns. And that would 5 times 5 is 25. But when you are saying area, you have to say square centimeters. Or sometimes we write 25 centimeters. That little 2 means it's two-dimensional, length and width. That's what that 2 stands for. Okay? So area has to have square units marked. If you just put 25 centimeters, it's incorrect. Now, if I needed to find the perimeter, I want to get a border around this, or this is fencing, though it's centimeters, so I don't know, that's not a very big fence. But to find the perimeter, I would simply add up those sides. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. 5, 5, 5, and 5. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 20 centimeters. I don't put the little 2 because this is just one dimension. It's the length. That's why it only has 20 centimeters. Okay? Centimeters squared, or whatever the unit is, whether it's feet, inches, centimeters, you'd have to put the little 2 to show it's a square. When you do perimeter, you just put the unit, whether it's centimeters, feet, yards, meters, and that's the difference between area and perimeter. Remember, area is inside, perimeter is around.